Okay, so hi everyone. Today we are going to learn about how to create a new repository in GitHub, and then we'll also create a README and then take a pull of that repository on our local system as well. In order to get started, we have to go to github.com. So I'll type github.com here. So once you have already logged into your GitHub account, you will have to click on this plus icon here, click on new repository, and it will take you to github.com/new. And here you can type in your repository name, let's say my new repository, and if that name is available as per your username, in that case that will be added. And I'll not add readme right now, we'll just simply create a repository here. Okay, so you can see that the new repository has been created, and what I'll do is I'll copy this git URL and then let me go to one of the folders here in my file system, and let me open up cmd here. I'll do git clone and my repository name. So it will clone the repository that we just created to my local system, right? I hit enter, cloned, and says that you appear to have cloned an empty repository, which is fine right now. So once this new repository has been added to your system, as of now you cannot see any files in here because we did not create any files. But because it is a GitHub repository, if you go to view and click on this show and hidden items, you will see that there is a .git folder that gets added, right? So although the repository itself is empty, but the .git folder has been created, which is created for tracking any new files that you will be adding and for other Git purposes here. Let's go to VS Code, and you can see that I have added our folder here, my new repository, and let's create one file here. So I'll add a basic readme.md file. Okay, and let's add something very basic, so something like my new repository readme. Okay, I'll save this. You can see on the bottom left here branch, which I'm currently checked out to, and if you go to the git or source control section of the VS Code, you can see that we now have a file which has been added, right? So now I can click on this plus icon here to stage the changes, which is this file, and then I can add my commit message here, added readme. Okay, then I can click on this tick mark here in order to commit this change. Okay, and to push these changes to my remote repository, which is GitHub, I can click on this push button here. Okay, so once I do that, you can see that there is no error, which means that probably the GitHub repository has now been updated. Now if I go to my new repository on GitHub and do a refresh here, you can see that my readme file that I added in my VS Code has been added here, right? So that is one simple way that you can create a new repository and then update the repository in GitHub from your local machine like that, right? Now if you want to go ahead and understand how to do it through git commands, we can go over those commands as well. So let's say in the case of, let's say, updating this readme, let's quickly add some message here. So updated readme message, let's say, and I save this again. So once I've saved this, you can see the change has been added here, right? So what I can go ahead and do is I can type git add and a dot to add all the changes, which is just my readme right now. Once I hit enter, you will see that that change gets added to the staged changes, right? And now I can do git commit and add a message with a -m, and then my message updated readme. Okay, and then I hit enter to make that commit. As you can see here on the left as well, that source control tab is also changing, and it says now that you have to sync changes which you have in your local to the remote repository, right? So I can go ahead and do something like git push origin main, which main being the the branch name which we are currently on, right? So if I hit enter, so it should push my changes to the GitHub branch there, and you can see on the left hand side source control has also been updated. And if I go to my GitHub repository, I hit refresh, and you can see that the updated README message is also here, right? These are like the basics of creating a repository and then updating the repository from your local. And we covered both the ways that we can use the inbuilt VS Code buttons that you have here on the left hand side with the source control panel, or through the terminal as well. If you think the video was helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot.